Um, I guess my first question would be, sorry, I'm talking too loud. My first question would be just, we asked Ryan about Seth throwing as many passes as he did on his return. I think he threw 53. How would you assess just kind of how to balance that out, obviously, with him playing so well, but also not wanting to burn him out, if you will?
Well, I think we got to do whatever it takes to win, so if that means throwing it 50 times, that's what we're going to do. And if it means running it 50 times, that's what we're going to do. So, I think as each day goes on, he's going to get stronger and stronger. And I think by this Saturday, it'll be this 100% kind of back to normal.
Sure. So it wasn't a concern then that he threw 53 passes right after that shoulder injury?
Not from a health standpoint. No, sir.
Okay, cool. And then speaking of the running game, you guys did have a season low 40 yards. Obviously, Brandon didn't play, but just what do you think the main concern is now? Because you guys have had 4 games below 100 yards rushing. Is it just a matter of O-line, running backs got to do better? What do you think the main issue is right now?
I think when it's going well, I would say that running the football is an 11-man operation. And when it's going bad, running the football is an 11-man operation. So I think we need to block better up front. Our tight ends need to block better. Our running backs got to hit holes. Our quarterback has to control the adjusters better and throw it in our RPO game. So to me, it's an 11-man operation. I do think SMU is stout against the run. They got a great defense, but we for sure have way more pride than that, and we're better than that. And we got to find a way to get more production in the running game.
And just curious, we saw that great play you guys called when you used Calvin in the reverse on that touchdown. Are there other ways to maybe kind of think of like, okay, if we can't run the ball up the middle because teams are stout, is there maybe other things you maybe want to explore to say, hey, let's try this out to see if we can, add some juice to the run game?
I think that, anytime that you game plan, you're always going to try to figure out how can you spread the field, how can you put a defense in space, and then how can we get the ball to our playmakers? And so if that means handing off inside zone, that's what we're going to do. Bubbles, screens, reverses. Yeah, I think anything's free game. It's just a matter of what we think schematically gives us an advantage.
Okay, and then my last question, because I forgot to ask last week, we didn't get to ask you about how it's been on the sidelines these last 3 games. We know some of the players requested that you'd be there, and it seemed like they've really enjoyed it. How's it been for you? And again, is this the first time you've done this?
So no, it's not the first time. I did it when I was at Indiana, actually the entire time that I was there. So I'm used to it. It's been great. The kids have been awesome. I just think it helps us in between series really come together as a unit and talk about maybe what just happened, but then also gives me a chance to ask them, hey, listen, what's the leverage? How's this guy playing you? What do you think? And then I can look in their eyes. There's just so much emotion and feeling you can get from being down there with them. But then also I think it allows us to set the tone and the direction of what we're going to do the next series.
And so has it been just, have you seen just a positive response? And it seems like, again, the players were the ones who kind of brought it up. So have you just seen that these last 3 games where the offense, obviously UCF aside, but there's a difference in just how the offense has flowed from a communication standpoint?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been good. It's been positive. Like you said, Central Florida game wasn't our best, but the other 2 have been pretty good. And I think the kids have been responsive to it. Coach Salem and the other GAs have done a great job in the press box with eyes and communications. That has helped me a ton. But so far, so good. We're going to keep it going.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Frank.
Hey, Kevin. Through the week of preparation, Silverfield talked about how, you guys kind of kept Hennigan out of a lot of practices to make sure that shoulder, wasn't sore. How do you game plan in a week like that when you aren't necessarily using your starting quarterback for most of the practices?
Right. I think that it's a challenge because you're really not quite sure, but we had a feeling he was going to be okay. But then 2, that was going to be the game plan. So if Peter Parrish was the quarterback, that's what we were going with. If Hunter Halsey was our quarterback, that's what we were going with. So we didn't have 2 different game plans. We were just going to roll with that one, and thankfully Seth was okay.
And then I see, lately more receivers have been able to get involved in the passing game. How has that been, being able to kind of see the offense spread the ball around a little bit more?
Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's great for the kids. They all practice so hard and year round they're lifting and running, and for them to get some production is exciting for everybody. And I think as the year goes on too, now we can't just lean on Calvin Austin all the time. And so we're going to need some of these guys to step up, and so far in a good way they have.
And then when you're in a game like SMU, that first half, both offenses were kind of struggling getting things going. And you guys picked it up in the second half. What are you telling your offense in a game like that during that first half?
Really just to keep at it because it can get frustrating because really we were moving the ball. We just weren't finishing in the red zone. The first drive we had it on the 5 and we jump off sides. Next drive, we get it down to the 20 and we stall. So I think we were being productive and the kids knew we were having success. We just were doing a bad job finishing off in the right way. So, they were very positive. Nobody got down or upset. But we got to find a way of touchdowns, not field goals and/or turnovers on downs.
And then Silverfield said before the game, he basically told the team that you guys are going to take some gambles on 4th downs and so on. What did you think about the way that your offense was able to respond, converting 5 out of 8 4th downs?
I was very proud. I think that was awesome. And we scored a couple of touchdowns on 4th down. Some of them were a little bit longer than we wanted them to be. But I think, our whole team was on the same page the minute we stepped on the sidelines to play that game, that they knew the plan and this is what we were going to do.
And then what are you seeing out of this ECU defense that may give you guys some troubles or something you got to work on?
Well, I think they're going to be extremely well coached. I think they're going to play hard. I think that they are the most aggressive defense we've played all year. They do a phenomenal job punching the ball out. It's evident on film. I just think there's a ton of pride in this program and in this coaching staff, and these kids reflect it. So we're going to have to match their energy on game day, and it'll be a great battle.
Okay, my last question in terms of the turnovers. Obviously, turnovers are important every week, but going against this ECU defense where turnovers is basically, kind of their thing. Is there an even more emphasis on that this week, protecting the ball?
1000% there is. It's evident on film how these guys do a great job, how it's coached and taught, and the kids believe in it from what they're teaching. So we got to be great with the ball. Again, this is a sound defense. They're an aggressive defense. Their offense is ball control. They're going to run it. So if we give them extra possessions, we're going to lose this game.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Terry and then Evan.
Hey, Coach, you said running game is a 11-man game. What things can you guys do to improve the running game to be more balanced?
Well, we got to be productive when we call those running plays. We got to block better. We got to move the line of scrimmage. Quarterbacks have to control the overhangs and throw it when it's there. Receivers have to block the perimeter. I just think we're not doing the things that it takes to be productive.
Evan.
Just kind of piggyback off of that, what are the things you guys need to do to be more productive, just to be more detailed, do you think?
In the running game or in general?
Yes. Running game, yes, in the running game.
I think a lot of it has to do with just details and really just running off the ball, being physical. I felt like SMU sort of reestablished the line of scrimmage and we didn't do a good job of taking it back, if you will. I would start with those two things.
Cool. Okay. My actual question, this is the last one for me. You've been on this staff now where this team has kind of, turned things around in November. The last 2 years, just from being here the last 2 years, what do you think it is about this month where things seem to click, just either with the offense or just this team? Just what do you think it is about just how this last month has kind of been just a place where things go up a notch?
Well, I'd like to think it starts with leadership and Coach Silverfield and the character of our kids that they're buying in and listening to what he's saying of great teams do play their best football in November. High character kids will continue to work. They continue to pay attention to details. And our kids know what's at stake. So, we've worked awful hard. We got a lot of good senior leadership and these kids want to end this season the right way. So let's hope it continues and we continue to climb and get better.
Do you see something different, like specifically, like just an attitude or something that just comes around this time of month?
Well, yeah, it is attitude, but I think it's a heightened sense of urgency, of awareness of, listen, we have 3 left, and we need to win these 3 games. And we've already slipped up and stubbed our toe earlier in the season, and we can't do that anymore. So I do think there's a sense of urgency and almost backs against the wall.